All right, so before we get into this video, I just want to say y'all made this a huge deal whenever it did not need to be a huge deal. This is the reason why I didn't post anything about the Jalen Hurts and the A.J. Brown situation, because everything was fine. People blew it up way out of proportion, and it wasn't anything like that. Like, people thought, oh, this is going to be a problem in Philly. Philly's going to start falling apart. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, they can't get along. They're literally like best friends. They're professional athletes. Like, they're allowed to argue and speak their mind. Like, if A.J. Brown wants the ball, he's allowed to say he wants the ball. And he even said in his press conference that it wasn't even about reception. So who on earth even knows what the argument actually was about? Like, we can't speculate on it. And everybody was wrong, and everybody made it a big deal. And that's all that I got to say on it. That's the exact reason why I didn't post anything on it, because I knew it wasn't going to be anything. And I think a lot of Philadelphia fans knew it wasn't going to be anything but people on the outside just like to see good things fall apart, and that's the reason why. But anyways, let's get into this video. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Philly Willy Podcast. If you guys like what I'm posting, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you guys want to talk back and forth with me about Philadelphia Eagles, make sure you're leaving comments down in the comment section. But today's video, we're going to be going over the injury report. Now, there was a decent amount of people on the injury report. A lot of them, I think, are just like precautionary and just just getting some rest and stuff and making sure that they're all good to go. But there was some things on here that I did want to talk about. So the first person on the list is Terrell Edmunds. He was out with an illness, so he'll probably be good to go for the game on Monday. Not really worried about that one. The next person was Boston Scott. He was out with a concussion. Now this one, I hope that he's able to go by Monday, just because it would be really, really helpful, because whenever he did go out in the last game, like, we were pretty thin at running back. You know, it was Rashad Penny's first game with us, so that could have been the reason why he wasn't like so productive, and it was his first 3 carries of the season, or however many carries he got. But I would like to see Boston Scott back on the field for this game coming up Monday, because I really like that him switching off with Deandre Swift, and then having Gainwell back. You're going to hopefully have a full healthy running back room, and hopefully Deandre Swift comes out being the starter in that game, and hopefully he gets the bulk of the carries. I don't mind Kenneth Gainwell getting some carries, but I just think Deandre Swift proved himself, and I think that he needs to be the focus point of the running back room, and he needs to be the one who is first in that room. All right, so next on the list was Reed Blankenship with his rib injury. He was a limited participant, so I'm pretty excited about that one. Hopefully he's able to come back for this game on Monday, because we need safety help, we need secondary help, and he's definitely a pretty good piece of this defense, and we need him back. So hopefully he's doing good. It's a good sign to see him back as a limited participant, so hopefully he should be back. Next on the list is James Bradbury. This also falls underneath that secondary help that we need back. He's out with a concussion. Same as Boston Scott, so he was a limited participant, so hopefully he will be back on Monday, and that will be a huge help. And we'll see what goes on with that cornerback situation with Avonte Maddox getting injured. If James Bradbury gets moved into the slot, or if he stays on the outside, we'll see what they do there. I'm going to post a video a little bit later in the week, a preview for the game, where I'll talk about more about the positions and what I think is going to go on, and like the position battles between each team, between the Eagles and the Buccaneers. So we'll get into that a little bit later in the week. Fletcher Cox was on the injury report with a rib injury. Now, I think this is also just precautionary, because he did have that rib injury before he played the Vikings, and he played in that Vikings game, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So he was a limited participant. Zach Cunningham was also a limited participant with a rib injury. Hopefully that's nothing serious. I don't think it is. Usually if people are limited participants, like they're moving along, like the injury really isn't bothering them too bad. They're just getting things worked out and getting back to form. Jordan Davis was on the list with an ankle injury, limited participant. That was a little bit scary to see that on there, because I know last year he went out with that ankle sprain. So that's something to keep an eye on. Hopefully it's just precautionary. He was a limited participant, so we'll see where that goes. Kenneth Gainwell, ribs. He should be back for this Monday game. Hopefully. Devontae Smith, this one scared me. I saw a notification pop up on my fantasy team, in my fantasy league, and it said that he was downgraded to questionable. I thought it said out, and it made my heart drop for a second. So hopefully he's fine with that hamstring thigh injury. He was a limited participant as well. I think that he's going to be a go for this next game, so I'm going to keep an eye on that one and see what happens later on in the week for the rest of the injury reports. And then you have Jack Stahl with an ankle, and he was a limited participant. And then you also have Josh Sweat with a toe injury, and he was a limited participant. So hopefully Josh Sweat is good to go. Hopefully, like, the main starters, like the starters that are on this list, hopefully all of them are good to go by this next game on Monday. There's only 3 people that did not participate, so that's pretty good for the amount of people that were on this list, and the rest were limited participants. So we'll see what happens later in the week, but this list is pretty long and it's not looking too good, but also at the same time, a lot of these injuries could be precautionary. I got to do some more research on them before I make my next video, and we'll talk about these injuries again. I just wanted to go over this list to make a quick video real quick. And then also the last thing that I want to talk about before I end this video is I believe that this next week, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to get into a pretty good rhythm on offense against the Buccaneers. I believe Jalen Hurts is going to get the passing game going. I think these past 10 days that he's had off, I think he's going to get a chance to look at the film of what teams are doing and how he can attack those coverages and what he can do to be a better player. I think A.J. Brown's going to be a little bit more involved, also the same as Dallas Goedert. And I just believe everything's going to start clicking a little bit more on offense. The Eagles have had some decent time to get it together, and hopefully Deandre Swift comes out being the starter, and they'll be able to just get right out of the gate, just start flying down there and just making things happen and executing on offense. That's all that I have for this video. I'm going to be posting another one later in the week about the preview for this next game, so look out for that one. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you guys like what I'm posting, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, and leave comments down in the comments if you want to talk back and forth about Philadelphia Eagles. That's all that I have for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.